the Bible.
Hello, friends. Welcome to Bible Broadcasts, vintage stories and hymns from the golden age of radio. I'm John Henderson. Join me for a trip back in time, whether you're a faithful Christian or an interested historian. Today, part one in an original two-part special featuring Old Testament Bible stories. They come from various old-time radio broadcasts from the early to mid-20th century. These are snippets of dramatizations and short readings that give you an idea of the overarching story of the Bible. But before we get to our stories, open your hymnal to number 333, Leaning on the Everlasting Arms, from an October 1939 broadcast.
God created the heaven and earth, and the earth was without form and void, and the darkness was on the face of the deep, and the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. And God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. And God saw the light, that it was good, and God divided the light from the darkness.
On the sixth day, the first man opened his eyes and saw paradise. And his soul was filled with wonder at the heavens and the earth. He arose and walked among the abundant fruits of the garden, under the voices of the birds, and the animals walked beside him.
Must I always be lonely?
God caused a deep sleep to fall upon him, and he slept. And he took a rib from Adam's side and made a woman. And then he set them down, man and woman, in Eden.
Are you awake? Your eyes are open, but you do not speak.
Eve, you are beautiful.
Now you are awake, Adam. I have been waiting.
I waited longer.
Did you? Adam, show me the world.
The world is big.
Then show it to me a little at a time.
Well, we'll start here. Now, this is a tree. You see? It bears fruit. Wait, I'll pick a fruit for you. Here. Put it in your mouth and eat it.
Why?
Because it's good.
Oh, it is good. Very good. I like it.
Then come, get up.
Let us stay here and eat the fruit.
I'll show you other fruits.
There are more?
Many more. And there are many other good things in the garden. Not that one, Eve. Don't touch it. It is God's command. It is forbidden.
Adam.
Now Satan burned with the enmity he bore for Adam. One day, as Eve walked alone in the garden, he spoke to her, and the lips were lips of the serpent, but the voice was the voice of Satan.
You look discontent, Eve.
Do I?
Yet I can understand.
How can you understand when it is not true?
For has not God said, you shall not eat of every tree in the garden?
Oh, there, you see how wrong you are? We may eat the fruit of all the trees.
All?
Except one.
This one, with a beautiful fruit.
There are other trees?
It is called the tree of knowledge. On the day you eat the fruit, on that day your eyes will be opened, and you will be like God, knowing good and evil.
Serpent, the world looks different.
You have eaten the fruit.
Adam, I have brought you something. Here, Adam.
Let me see the fruit.
Eat it. Not for the sake of your hunger, but for my sake.
Come, we will wait to be called.
Adam, where are you? Why do you hide?
I heard the voice in the garden, and I was afraid because I was naked.
How did you know that you were naked? Have you eaten of the tree that you were commanded not to eat?
Eve brought me the fruit she had already eaten.
The serpent beguiled me.
Because thou hast done this, cursed art thou from among all the beasts of the field. Upon thy belly shalt thou go, and dust shalt thou eat all the days of thy life. And I will put enmity between thee and the woman, and between thy seed and her seed. In pain shalt thou bring forth children, and thy desire shall be to thy husband, and he shall rule over thee.
I want to know my punishment.
Cursed is the ground for thy sake. In toil shalt thou eat of it all the days of thy life. Thorns also and thistles shall it bring forth to thee. In the sweat of thy face shalt thou eat bread till thou return unto the ground. For dust thou art, and unto dust shalt thou return.
Well, how?
Put on these garments of skin and prepare to leave.
Leave?
Angels, bring the flaming sword that turns every way. Take your places at the east of the garden.
After the Lord God had cast Adam and Eve forth from the Garden of Eden, they went into the world and took up their life under the conditions decreed by God. In time, Eve bore Adam 2 sons, the elder named Cain, and the second one Abel. And Abel was a keeper of sheep, but Cain was a tiller of the ground. And in process of time it came to pass that Cain brought of the fruit of the ground an offering unto the Lord. And Abel, he also brought of the firstlings of his flock, and of the fat thereof. And the Lord had respect unto Abel and his offering, but unto Cain he had not respect. And Cain was very wroth, and spoke unto the Lord, O God, my father, why is this my offering unacceptable to you? Yet thou hast shown respect unto that which my brother has offered.
Why art thou wroth, and why is thy countenance fallen? If thou doest well, shall thou not be accepted? And if thou doest not well, sin lieth at the door.
And so Cain took himself from the presence of the Lord, and went unto his fields and vineyards. In his heart was not understanding of that which God had said unto him, but a gnawing worm of jealousy and despair. And it came to pass that one day he sought his brother Abel in the field.
Cain, why do you look at me like that?
Perhaps if God did not have to choose between you and me, my sacrifices would find more favor. You're like a thorn in my flesh.
No, Cain, no!
Maybe this will still your voice.
Cain, Cain!
Cry now, and see if the Lord will hear you.
I hear a voice. Who is calling me?
I am calling you, Cain. Where is Abel, thy brother?
How should I know? Am I my brother's keeper?
Cain, what hast thou done? The voice of thy brother's blood crieth unto me from the ground.
O Lord.
And now art thou cursed from the earth, which hath opened her mouth to receive thy brother's blood from thy hand. When thou tillest the ground, it shall not henceforth yield unto thee her strength. A fugitive and a vagabond shalt thou be in the earth.
O Lord, my punishment is greater than I can bear. Behold, thou hast driven me out this day from the face of the earth, and from thy face shall I be hid. I shall be a fugitive and a vagabond in the earth, and it shall come to pass that everyone that findeth me shall slay me.
Whosoever slayeth Cain, vengeance shall be taken on him sevenfold.
And the Lord set a mark upon Cain, lest anyone finding him in should slay him. And Cain went out from the presence of the Lord, and dwelt in the land of Nod, on the east of Eden.
And God saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every imagination of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually. And it repented the Lord that he had made man on the earth, and it grieved him at his heart. And the Lord said, I will destroy man whom I have created from the face of the earth, both man and beast and the creeping thing and the fowls of the air, for it repenteth me that I have made them. But Noah found grace in the eyes of the Lord. Noah was a just man, and Noah walked with God. And God said unto Noah, the end of all flesh is come before me, for the earth is filled with violence through them. And behold, I will destroy them with the earth. Make thee an ark. Thus did Noah. According to all that God commanded him, so did he. And the Lord said unto Noah, come thou and all thy house into the ark, for thee have I seen righteous before me in this generation.
Who will say how often the Lord spoke unto men? But there came a time when he spoke again, saying, Abraham, Abraham. And Abraham answered,
Here am I.
Long ago, in the days not far removed from the beginning of the world, Abraham undertook a journey.
Because I heard a voice say, get thee out of thy country and from thy kindred and from thy father's house, unto the land that I will show thee. And the voice said, I will make of thee a great nation, and I will bless thee. And in thee shall all the families of the earth be blessed.
Abraham.
We will leave tomorrow early in the morning, Sarah.
Not even 10. Your name is Lot?
I don't know you, but will you come into my house? I will tell my wife to bring food.
Thank you. Aren't you afraid?
Everyone who lives here is afraid.
Yet you don't drive me away.
Strangers are welcome in my house.
That is not the custom of the city.
I don't observe all its customs.
Lot, this is an evil city.
I have known it for many years.
This is like no other.
I am an old man. Since I left the place where I was born, I have lived in many cities. They were of all degrees of wickedness, but none was good, and yet I lived.
You don't understand, Lot. I came to see. Don't open the door.
Lot, come out to us!
Don't go out.
I must talk to them. What do you want of me?
There is a stranger in your house.
He is my guest.
Bring him out to us.
He is a stranger and my guest. I will come out. Punish me instead.
You too, but first the stranger. Bring him out.
Lot, come away from the door.
You are in great danger. I must find a way to get you out.
Call your wife and your sons and daughters and their wives and husbands. Prepare them to leave.
You do not understand. It is you who must leave.
This is an evil city.
I have lived in many evil places, but the evil has not been in me nor my house.
This is different. Get ready to leave.
I see. I did not understand at first.
Hurry, Lot. There isn't much time.
Lend a hand, ain't it? We'll have the door down soon.
Lot.
Hurry, wife. We have a long way to go.
No, wait. Lot, let's stop here for a while.
He said he would wait until we reach the hills. We must hurry.
Lot, do you remember the first time we left the place where we lived? I was young. I could walk all day.
I remember.
We built so many homes and left them. I'm tired, Lot. How peaceful the city looks from here.
We see only the houses, not the people.
We're the first family to leave. There will be no others, will there?
It's no use asking questions.
Lot, I want to go back.
We cannot.
I'm frightened, Lot.
Don't stop.
Storm is over the city.
The stranger warned us. Don't look back.
It's my world. I have a right to look.
No. Close your eyes.
I have a right to see the end of my world.
Then fire and stones rained down upon Sodom and Gomorrah, and upon all the cities of the plain. The sky was bright with terrible flames. But there was none to see, except Lot's wife, who turned back to look. Then stood, unseeing, fixed to the spot where she turned. For the cities were destroyed, and all the inhabitants.
We ask you to turn back with us to the book of Genesis, chapter 22, verses 1, 2, and 3. And it came to pass that God said unto Abraham, Behold, here I am. And he said, Take now thy son, thine only son Isaac, whom thou lovest, and get thee into the land of Moriah, and offer him there for a burnt offering upon one of the mountains which I will tell thee of. And Abraham rose up early in the morning, and took Isaac his son, and went into a place of which God had told him.
Father, may I help you?
It's all ready now, my son.
Oh, but you said you always sacrificed the lamb. Don't you want me to go down to the plains? I'm sure I could find a lamb down there, Father.
No, Isaac. Not today, my son.
I'm sorry, Father. I shouldn't be impatient. God will provide a lamb, won't he? I guess you'll scold me for not having faith.
No, Isaac, I'm not going to scold you today.
I was so pleased when you asked me to come here with you to worship, but I guess I've asked so many questions you'll never want to bring me again.
Isaac, my son, don't talk about the future. You've been a good boy. You've always been a comfort to me. I had hoped to see the day when you'd be married and have sons.
Father, you're so sad and different today. You speak as if you didn't think you'd live much longer.
Please, Isaac.
Oh, no, Father, I couldn't bear that. I don't want anything to happen to you, not ever.
It isn't my time to go yet. I am sad today. I think God understands why and will forgive me. Now, my son, Isaac, will you pray to God?
What shall I say, Father?
Give thanks for his mercy and goodness to you and to all men. Tell him what is in your heart, my boy.
Dear God, I thank you for your kindness and mercy and goodness to me. And I want to thank you before all else for my father and mother. Please, God, take care of them.
O merciful God, I hereby dedicate to you I dedicate my only son. Father. Wait, my son, wait. Don't speak. I thank thee, O God. You have sent a ram into the wilderness for the sacrifice. It is not to be my son. Come, my son, let us kneel down here together before the altar and pray. For God is indeed merciful and good.
And the angel of the Lord called unto Abraham out of heaven, and he said, Lay not thine hand upon the lad, for now I know that thou fearest God, seeing thou hast not withheld thy son, thine only son, from me.
Now Isaac loved Esau because he did eat of his venison, and Rebekah loved Jacob. And Jacob sowed pottage, and Esau came in from the field, and he was faint. And Esau said to Jacob, Let me swallow, I pray thee, some of this red, red pottage, for I am faint. And Jacob said, Sell me first thy birthright. And Esau said, Behold, I am at the point to die, and what profit shall the birthright do to me?
And now it is evening. The stars hang full in the black sky, and the lamps in the tent are lighted. Jacob the father sits with his son Joseph, playing at a game on the bronze surface of a tabernet.
When I had served 7 years for Rachel, and the time approached that I should receive her in the Lord, Laban, her father, spoke to me.
Jacob, I will give thee a cloth wherein the bride may veil herself and be consecrated.
Those were his words, my son. But later, when I handed the bride the flower and lifted the veil, it was not Rachel, but Leah whom that devil Laban had brought to me.
And did my mother wear this veil too, at her time?
She did. Art thou the firstborn? No. First came Reuben, for after Reuben came Simeon and Levi, and then Judah. Then came the turn of Rachel's firstborn, thou. Here in this chest. Here. Here is the cloak of many colors.
Thus it was that Joseph arrived in the vale of Shechem. And when the brothers saw him in his coat of many colors, they stared. Hardly had he time to open his mouth when there arose and swelled a thunderous roar as from tortured gullets, an exultant yell of rage and hate and sudden release. And they all 10 sprang up as one man and flung themselves upon him. They beat him, coat and all. And when they had beaten him enough, they bound him and flung him into a pit. And then, breathing again, they sat down.
Well, it is done. What now?
We must kill him.
No.
Reuben, art thou with us or against us?
He need not be killed.
He must.
We must be quiet. We shall take an animal of the flock and cut its throat. And in this blood we will dip the coat of many colors. Bring we it before Jacob and say unto him, This have we found of the ground. Is it not thy son's garment?
And as the brothers argued, it happened that a caravan of traders, Ishmaelites, came upon the pit. They would sell Joseph to the Ishmaelites. And this they did.
And it came to pass that Pharaoh dreamed a dream. And he called unto him his wise men and his soothsayers. And he commanded them, Interpret me my dream. And they were unable. And then the vizier stood forward and spoke unto Pharaoh.
Almighty One, there is a youth now in prison, a Syrian unbeliever, who did interpret me a dream with ease and truthfulness. And exactly as he said it, thus did it come to pass.
And Pharaoh's command went forth, Bring me this unbeliever.
Come nearer, my friend. Come quite near. Well, now, they say of you that when you hear a dream, you can interpret it.
It is not I who do this. It is God alone.
So be it. I dreamed I stood on the bank of a river. 7 fine, smooth, fat cows with bursting udders. And suddenly, My pleasure gave way to horror and fear. For out of the water came 7 more, and these were the ugliest, leanest, most starveling cows that man ever beheld. And then it happened. For the 7 lean kine sprang and leaped upon the healthy ones and devoured them one by one, utterly and completely. And then they stood there lean as before.
I'm listening, my lord.
I had a second dream, and a stalk came forth. And on this stalk were 1, 2, 7 ears of corn, full, fat, and golden. Yet even as I saw, the stalk kept shooting forth ears, 7 ears more, dead ones, blackened with mildew and blight. And as they pushed out below the others, lo, the fine, large ears vanished as though into the dead lean ones. And the lean ones grew neither fuller nor better favored than before, but stood there, black and dead. And here my dream ended.
Not dreams, my lord, but dream. For there was only one dream. Repeat it. God has granted Pharaoh through this dream 14 years of foresight. Pharaoh must heap up provisions of these 7 fat years. New barns and granaries must be built. The cities must be so provisioned that food is laid by. And when the 7 lean years arrive, the food shall be distributed to all.
Distributed?
How? It shall be the wisest man among thy counselors. Him let Pharaoh appoint and set him over the land of Egypt, saying, Be as myself.
There shall be a man who is chief overseer over all. And this man, Joseph, thou art this man.
And thus did it come about that Joseph was placed in position over all save Pharaoh. For 7 years then the winds and the waters gave of their best, and the harvests were rich. And then the Nile failed to rise, and Joseph the provider became known through all the land and beyond the borders.
It has come. They have come. My brothers.
My brothers? The ones who thrust thee into the pit and sold thee into slavery?
Aye, even so. And they know not before whom they will be brought. The little Benjamin remains at home with the father.
Little? Joseph, thou makest me to smile with thy little. 20 years or more it is since.
And it came to pass that the brothers appeared before Joseph in the great hall of his palace. And they fell upon their faces in obeisance. And Joseph devoured them with his eyes. But his tongue was harsh as he said,
So many. 10, all at once.
O great provider, our hearts praise with one voice him who nourishes the world.
It does not escape my penetration that you, who are supposed to be brothers, are very different among yourselves.
Likenesses and differences are due to our being from different mothers. But we are one man's sons, Jacob, your servant, who begot us and sent us to you to buy bread.
If we are not brothers, what then are we?
Spies. Spies. Who come to ferret a land that you may reveal it to Pharaoh's enemies.
No, my lord.
We are honest. Silence! My lord, Bring me this youngest brother, this Benjamin, or whatever you call him.
It is Benjamin. Strange, my lord, that thou speakest his name. For I recall not our mentioning it.
Of course you mentioned it.
As
one of you shall remain here with me.
And it was indeed as Joseph said, for Simeon remained in Egypt, and the brothers went home to Hebron. And in a year they returned again, and with them was the youngest, Benjamin.
How dost thou know our years, that thou seatest us in order of age?
And after the brothers, all 11, had departed for Hebron, Mai, the assistant, turned to Joseph, his master, and said,
Well, now they are gone. What now?
They will return.
How knowest thou they will return?
I know because I've arranged it. Look you, my friend, what I have done. I have caused to be placed in Benjamin's sack the silver cup Pharaoh gave me.
And when they were returned unto his presence, Joseph upbraided them. But Judah spoke up and said,
My lord, It was I who said unto Jacob our father, give Benjamin into my hand. I will vouch for his care. I myself will expiate for all of us.
What more is there to say? There were tears in Joseph's eyes.
Brothers, here I am. I am your brother, Joseph.
Thus he spoke to them, and at first they stared, unbelieving. And then they laughed and wept together, and stretched out their hands as he stood among them, and touched him. And he, too, caressed them with his hand.
Now there arose a new king over Egypt, who knew not Joseph. And he said unto his people, behold, the children of Israel are too many and too mighty for us. Come, let us deal wisely with them, lest they multiply. Therefore did he set over them taskmasters, and they made their lives bitter with hard service in mortar and in brick, and in all manner of service in the field. Yet even so the children of Israel multiplied. Then charged the king to his people, ye shall go among the Israelite women. Every son that is born ye shall cast into the river, and every daughter ye shall save alive.
Quiet.
Do not raise your voice. Miriam, come in. Tell your father what you have told me.
Not far from the palace of the king, there is a place on the river Nile where the Princess Thermutis goes each day with her maidens to bathe.
Miriam and I have woven a basket of straw, and we have snared the basket with pitch so that it will float upon the water and not sink, even like the ark of our father Noah in the time of the flood.
And you would place your own son in it?
Amram, by Pharaoh's decree, your son dies. Our only hope is that through the compassion of Pharaoh's daughter, your son may live.
Princess, you do not bathe today. Princess, there in the water.
Yes?
I thought I saw a basket.
But there is a child in the basket.
I hear.
My lady, the child.
The child must be a child of the Hebrews. Leave it, Princess.
Bring the basket to me. Hush, little one. Do you wish to rouse Pharaoh in his palace?
Princess of the Egyptians.
Who is this? Begone, girl.
A moment, my lady. Girl, you called my name?
Yes, Princess.
Speak, then.
I know a woman of the Hebrews. There is abundance of milk in her. She could nurse this child.
Girl, what is your name?
Miriam.
And the name of this Hebrew woman?
Jochebed.
Go. Bring a nurse of the Hebrews and do not be long.
And the woman took the child and nursed it. And the child grew, and she brought him unto Pharaoh's daughter, and he became her son. And she called his name Moses, and said, because I drew him out of the water. And when he was a man, he went one day into the land of Goshen, where the Israelites labored their burden.
And so when Moses saw an Egyptian beating a Hebrew, one of his people, he looked this way and that, and seeing no one, he killed the Egyptian.
Israelite, I promise he will not whip you anymore.
I believe you.
Help me pick him up.
I will help you dig a grave for him. The Egyptian is dead.
Now Moses fled from the face of Pharaoh and dwelt in the land of Midian. And he lived with Jethro, and took Zipporah, the daughter of Jethro, for his wife. And it came to pass in the course of these many days that the king of Egypt died, and a new king rose in that land, and increased the bondage of the children of Israel. And Moses looked, and beheld the bush burned with fire, and the bush was not consumed. And God called unto him out of the midst of the bush. And Moses answered,
Here am I.
And God said, Put off thy shoes from off thy feet, for the place whereon thou standest is holy ground.
Who speaks to me? Who are you?
And he said to Moses, I am the God of thy father, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, the God of Jacob. And Moses hid his face, for he was afraid. And the Lord said, I have surely seen the affliction of my people that are in Egypt, and I am come down to deliver them out of the hand of the Egyptians, and to bring them up into a good land, unto a land flowing with milk and honey. Come now, therefore, and I will send thee unto Pharaoh, that thou mayest bring forth my people, the children of Israel, out of Egypt. And Moses said unto God,
Who am I, that I should go alone unto Pharaoh?
And the Lord God of Israel said unto Moses, I will go with thee.
When Israel was in Egypt's land, let my people go. Oppressed so hard they could not stand, let my people go. Go down, Moses, way down in Egypt's land. Go tell, O Pharaoh, to let my people go. Thus saith the Lord, but Moses said, let my people go. If not, I'll smite your firstborn dead. Let my people go. Go down, Moses, way down in Egypt's land. Go tell, O Pharaoh, to let my people go.
When thy son asketh thee in time to come, saying, What mean the testimonies and the statutes, and the ordinances which the Lord our God hath commanded you? Then thou shalt say unto thy son, We were Pharaoh's bondmen in Egypt, and the Lord brought us out of Egypt with a mighty hand. And the Lord commanded us to do all these statutes, to fear the Lord our God, for our good always, that he might preserve us alive, as it is at this day. And it shall be righteousness unto us, if we observe to do all this commandment before the Lord our God, as he hath commanded us.
We leave with our heads high, a free people.
Where are we going to go?
Our great leader Moses has told us that the Lord has promised us a land of milk and honey.
Where may this land be, Master? It is not said, but I hear that it is the land of Canaan.
The great Exodus began. And now the Israelites were encamped at an oasis in the desert, beyond the Red Sea. And then the congregation of the children was called together.
Hear, O children of Israel, the words of the Lord of Israel, which thou shalt set before you.
Keep listening to Bible broadcasts to hear part 2 of the Old Testament. Thanks.